Somebody asked me to do a video about Steam controller, and well, yeah, I can do that. So currently, I do not have a Steam controller, and the reason is that I'm living in the one corner of the world that Valve doesn't give a crap about, and because of that, I really can't order Steam controller directly from Valve. And the only way for me to acquire a Steam controller is through a third party. Uh, Usually, I'm like a middleman or seller, reseller. And as you know it, currently Steam controller is out of stock and is being sold at a scalped price, at a cheap scalped price of $200. But at least you know that when it gets restocked, it's going to be cheaper again. It gets cheaper again. However, for people, for me and the people living where I am in similar places, $200 is going to be the normal price. I'm not even exaggerating, really. Back then, when the Steam Deck make it way here, it was like almost twice the price, really. So for Steam controller, I'm not holding my breath for it to be cheap. Now, I think that $100 for Steam controller is appropriate. Yeah, I don't mind spending $100 on Steam controller. And if I have to spend more on Steam controller, it's going to be just 10 or $20. Like I'm at most I'm only willing to pay $120 on the Steam controller. That's it. Any more gets ridiculous. I am interested in the Steam controller, but I don't love it that much to dish out 150 or $200 on the Steam controller. I don't love it that much, really. I think it's interesting. I want to try it. I'm interested in trying it. I just don't want to spend that much money on Steam controller. I don't want to spend too much money on Steam controller. With that said, if it gets cheaper, I might get it. In the future, but I'm not promising anything. Anyway, I can give my thought about Steam controllers or its features. So let's get to it. First of all, the buttons. So specifically the D-pad and the face buttons. I think they are a little bit the face buttons are a little bit closer to each other in comparison to conventional controller, and they're a little bit higher up. The layout of the Steam controller is very unique. Like this is something that never seen before, really. But I don't think they are in a bad position. Like they put a lot of thought into layering the inputs on the Steam controller, and it seems like you can easily reach all of them using your thumbs. But my one complaint with the buttons is probably the D-pad, really. The cross-shaped D-pad isn't my cup of tea. To be honest, I prefer the disc shape like ones on the Steam controller or the Vader 4 Pro that I have right now. I don't like D-pad that much, but I know some people swear by it. And I just don't like that much. But I think they are, well, not in bad spot. Probably usable. I don't know. I gotta hold the controller to give a better opinion about the positioning of the buttons. Next, the trackpad. So the trackpad is typically trackpads on game controller are very large, or at least bigger than Steam controller. I mean, the OG Steam controller also has a much larger trackpad, and they are also in a shaped circle. They have a circle shape. But this time, they decided that to make a trackpad smaller and also make them square with a round corner. And I think it's not a bad thing either. Because if it's small, trackpad doesn't need to be big really. You can easily reach one corner. You can reset your finger quickly, so you can just swipe back and forth. Doesn't have to be really big. And I have another controller with trackpad with the Darkwalker short pad, and the trackpad on that controller is huge. Like I only use like 1/3 of the trackpad. Like the left side of the trackpad is completely untouched in most cases. Sometimes I use my left finger, like left thumb, to reach over a little bit, but I don't really use the left side of the trackpad much. So I think the size of the trackpad on the Steam controller is appropriate, at least in my opinion. Not too big, not too small, just about right. But the fact that they place it below the stick is kind how do I put it? Um, odd. I mean, let's just say you don't use the stick, but you use the buttons and the trackpad. So you gotta swipe your finger down. You're gonna have to lift your finger a little bit so that it doesn't touch the analog stick. So you can reach over. You can reach to the trackpad. That was why I think gonna be a little bit cumbersome. The placement of the analog stick is a little bit odd to me. But once again, I don't have the controller, so I do not. I can't say for sure. Is that the, if that's the case? Okay, next up, the analog stick. The most interesting aspect about the analog stick on the Steam controller 2 is the touch capacity. Like you got this metal part on top of the stick that can be assigned to keybind or functions when you touch it. It will be activated when you touch it, and it's really interesting. Valve tried to advertise these features by associating with a gyroscope. So basically, you use your finger to touch the top of the stick and it activates the gyroscope, which I think is really interesting concept. But the question is, beyond using it for gyroscope, what else can we use for? And that's kind of depend on the creativity of people who's going to use the Steam controller. Really, I try to sit down and try to brainstorm some use for it, but I can't think of anything. Like maybe I can use it for layer shifting or button short, something like that. But I can imagine assigning an action to the touch capacity because it's just it's how do I put it? Like let's just say you assign it to reloading, for example, but every time you touch the analog stick, like in order, let's just say okay, let me put together the thought. Let's just say you assign the reloading keybind to the right right stick capacity. Every time you touch the stick, you reload. But at the same time, you use a stick to turn your camera, and it sounds really ridiculous, right? I mean, you can just that's why you can just assign any kind of keybinds to the touch capacity. You have to put some thought into it, and you will try to find some appropriate use for it to make sense and kind of helpful in a way. And I haven't thought of a usable use case for this touch capacitors outside modifier shift playing, really. Maybe it could be useful for virtual menus. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta have the controller in my hands and experiment with it directly for me to have a solid opinion. Okay, moving on to the back of the controller. So we have the triggers and the shoulder buttons. So I don't think there's anything particularly about the shoulder buttons, but the triggers, I heard that they removed the second detent, the second stage of the triggers on the original controller, Steam controller. If you press the analog triggers all the way down, there is a second click that will activate a unique keybind that you can assign to. And I think it was a very interesting concept. But unfortunately, I heard that it's no longer a features on the newer Steam controller, which is a really shame. I always prefer to have more way to activate a keybind, but that's not the case for Steam controller. Then we have the back buttons. Okay, so I do not know. I'm not in the loop regarding the scuff pattern controls. But the last time they were fighting Scuff because they tried to claim that they stole the back battles ideas from Scuff and something. But for the Steam controller, Valve decided that they went with the buttons instead of paddles. It could be that the pattern control is still in effect. I don't know. Someone please correct me. Or maybe Valve thought that buttons is more suitable for a wide array of audience. I mean, a lot of people don't like paddles that much. At least I know that because some people really criticize the paddles on the Vader 5 controller. They prefer the button design and they didn't like the paddle that much. So I can see that some people don't like paddles. So going with a button seems like a safe move. With that said, the shape of the button is a bit odd. But once again, I can't say for sure whether or not they feel right if I don't have the controller. One more thing, the grip also has a touch sensing, basically like a touch capacity on the top of the thumbstick. But the problem is that a lot of people had the firm grip on the game controller, and usually they grab their pinky and their ring finger around the grip, which probably kind of render the grip touch kind of useless because it will be activated all the time. In my opinion, in order to use the grip the grip touch sensing features, you're gonna have to adapt a new kind of the new way to hold the controller so that your pinky and your ring finger won't be touching the grip all the time, which I think that will be basically turn some people off. Really, some people just like have a firm grip because they think it's more comfortable, and when you have the kind of different grip that just a little bit loose, people not gonna like it. But that's just me. I don't think maybe it could be useful. Maybe no, I don't know. And besides, touch. I appreciate that Veils is experimenting with the whole new concept, new idea of touch control. But whether or not this is going to be take off, only time can tell. I do hope people really get creative, but also I hope people be sensible, reasonable with the way they implement the setup. Because sometimes, like if you don't do it right, it's going to be very distrustful. People will think that these touch sensing features is just a gimmick, like how Nintendo did with the whole wackling with the gyroscope and motion sensor back in the 7th gen of the console series. That was so super damaging that people got turned off by the whole concept of gyroscope control as a whole. So seriously, whoever designing controlling layout for Steam Control right now, they gotta be very careful with the touch sensing features. Okay, so that's what I think about the feature that I can see and I understand. So here's the thing: I heard that some people criticize Steam controllers for not having Xinput, and that's ridiculous. That's really ridiculous because this thing that's to criticize Steam controller for not having Xinput is the same as buying a very expensive headphones, an audiophile grade headphones, and then plug into your PC and then wonder why you don't hear anything. For expensive headphones, for audiophile headphones, the headphone alone is not enough. You need like a DAC unit and you need an amplifier unit and you need to plug them all in and you need to turn your sounds to your liking. And Steam controller is the same here. Valve designed Steam controller to be a customizable controller, not something you plug in and play. So buying a Steam controller expecting it to be plug and play is a wrong kind of approach. They'll make it very clear that it's not to be plug and play. Really, it's supposed to be used with companion apps software. It doesn't have to be Steam input really. Any other third-party software will also be fine. I mean when they support it, of course. I know that Rewards supported the original Steam controller, and some people use it on Rewards, with great result. And in the future, definitely Rewards will support the new Steam controller. I think that Steam controller is a very second round of attempting to make a game controller and capable peripheral for PC gaming. and it's a very noble cause. It's a noble cause, really. And, but right now, well, yeah, the small amount stock and scalping situation isn't really helping. It's like a lot of people who are interested in, who really want a Steam controller and who really knows how to make use of Steam controller, do not have access to Steam controller right now. That's a problem. Right? And then a number of Steam controller is sitting in in some scalper home or waiting to be getting sold at a ridiculous price. And unfortunately, that's just the current state of the world. Honestly, they were kind of took the L on this one. Really, they were supposed to be stocking with a larger quantity before sending it out. But if you're patient, you wait for a little bit. I think we get over this really quickly and go back to normal price. I mean, scalper is only can only profit from people if people are impatient. Really. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Like I said, I am interested in Steam controller, but I don't love it that much to get it right away. And maybe one day you will see me, maybe in a year, maybe a year or two, I don't know. Maybe forever, I don't know. If I can find one reasonable, I will try to get one. But if not, then well, this is the only video you're gonna hear me talking about Steam controller, really. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video because I got something new on the next video. Yeah, I hope to look forward to it. Anyway, see ya.